Harrison Graham and Will Scott here from Chat Sports. Welcome into college football now. And we got a few weeks left in the season, but we thought we would take an early look at some college football bowl game projections. We'll take a look at the full New Year's Six, and then also 4 more big bowl game matchups that are not considered New Year's Six games. We'll take a look at the CFP projections first. Obviously, these teams could lose, not be in the playoff, but based on how things sit now, Ohio State, TCU, this would be the 2 versus 3 matchup if, the top 4 unbeaten teams end up winning out, for example, or the winner of Michigan, Ohio State, the loser. You know what I'm saying. The 4 seed currently not in the top 4. Georgia would be 1 in this scenario. Ohio State, TCU 2 and 3. This would be at the Fiesta Bowl in Glendale. Be an interesting one. And what was a funny tie in this one is TCU fans, believe me, are still butthurt about 2014 about Ohio State jumping TCU. So to
Revenge
finally get
8 years later.
To get their chance, I promise you they would love that opportunity in the college football playoff 8 years later.
I think it'd be a great game, too. 2 high-powered offenses. And, we've talked about it. The Big Ten isn't nearly as good this year. I think TCU's been more battle-tested than Ohio State. But I think TCU's got to win out to get into that game. And you can say the same thing about Ohio State as well. They obviously have to beat Michigan to get in.
Now, obviously, in these projections, we project Ohio State to beat Michigan, and I base that purely on the betting odds right now have Ohio State as a favor over Michigan. That game's at home, so that's how I projected that. Michigan could totally win that game. Other CFP game, Peach Bowl, Georgia,
rematch.
Tennessee, rematch. In this scenario, Tennessee becomes the 4 seed. In this projection, Georgia would beat LSU in the SEC championship game, so that situation doesn't get chaotic, obviously. And again, I'm just betting that on betting odds and whatnot. I'm not, this isn't my biases on who's going to win what game and whatnot. This is just based on betting odds and whatnot, and what's most likely to happen. And it's college football. The unlikely usually happens, but look, Tennessee would love to have a second crack at this. They just came out flat in that game. Tough road environment. You get them on a neutral field indoors with that high-powered offense, you got to think Tennessee would have a better chance the second time around. Georgia would certainly be favored. They'd be playing in their backyard. Tennessee fans would travel, though. This would be a fun game.
And that would make it the second straight year that we've seen a rematch in the playoff. Last year, Alabama and Georgia national championship game. Georgia laid an egg against Bama in Atlanta. They got the rematch. They won it. Tennessee could have the same chance here in the semifinals.
It's hard to beat a top 5 team twice, man. It really is. So, Josh Heupel, Hendon Hooker, and those boys would like a second chance. But obviously, Stetson Bennett and Georgia, very battle-tested over the past couple of years. Predict the 4 teams to make the CFP this season. You got 4 unbeatens left. Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU, obviously the Buckeyes and the Wolverines set to play each other in a couple of weeks. Again, we projected Ohio State just because they'll be favored in that game. They could easily lose. Let us know what your top 4 predictions are down in the comments section. Let's get to the other New Year's Six matchups here. The Orange Bowl, Clemson here. I almost went North Carolina because I do think they could beat Clemson in an ACC title game, but Clemson would be favored in that matchup, so I went with them. Bama will be in the New Year's Six. They obviously draw ratings, and they're going to win their last 2 games, go 10-2, so they'll be in there. This would be a fun non-CFP game, right? I mean, 2 teams that have played each other quite a bit in the playoff, playing outside of the playoff.
Yeah, that game was projected not too long ago is to be, maybe even the national championship game.
Yep.
But now it's probably going to be, it's still New Year's Six Bowl, but not the semifinal. But yeah, when you're looking at Clemson's chances to get in the top 4, they're not very good. And Bama's chances are probably done by this point.
Yeah, Clemson's problem is the ACC just stinks. They just don't have the resume. So, we'll see where they end up. Sugar Bowl projection, rematch of last year, Kansas State and LSU. Now, a lot still has to happen here. Number 1, Kansas State in this scenario has to win their final 2 regular season games, which would clinch them a spot in the Big 12 championship game. If they lost that to TCU and TCU got into the CFP, by rule, Kansas State would automatically represent the Big 12 in the Sugar Bowl. LSU in this scenario would be a 10-3 team most likely. get to 10-2, lose to Georgia in the SEC title game, and we get a rematch from one of the weirdest bowl games ever last year, but this time higher stakes in the New Year's Six.
Yeah, last year was the Texas Bowl. LSU had their entire team out with COVID. They had a wide receiver playing quarterback, so you got to know some of the guys on that LSU team last year would love a rematch with Kansas State. And we normally don't see a 4-loss team get in a New Year's Six Bowl, but in this scenario, Kansas State would have 4 losses.
Yeah, and it's possible that could happen in the Big Ten if there's a crazy upset there. More games to project here, but shout out to our sponsor, Established Titles, for sponsoring today's episode of College Football Now. Established Titles is a fun and novel way to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland. That is really their goal, to help those global reforestation efforts. This project is based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds or ladies or lords in English. Title packs give you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land with a unique plot number on a private estate in Edelston, Scotland, and an official certificate with a crest. I can't wait to get my certificate in the mail. They plant a tree with every order and work with global charities like One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future to support those previously mentioned reforestation efforts. You could officially include the title of Lord or Lady on your credit card, your plane tickets, your dating profiles, etc. It makes for a great last-minute gift this holiday season. Oh, and by the way, the first 200 people purchasing a title pack using our link will effectively be next to my plot and Will Scott's plot of land as well. We can start our own chat sports kingdom in Edelston, Scotland. A bunch of subscribers have already done this, and you could be the next one. Great last-minute gift, like I mentioned. Black Friday sale ongoing right now with deals up to 80% off, and we'll give you an extra 10% off with promo code CHAT. So go to establishedtitles.com/chat, use promo code CHAT, and get your plot of land today. That way you can become a lord or a lady. And hey, Will, I hear the dating scene has gotten a little better for you since you've added Lord Will Scott to your dating profile.
You can officially put Lord on your credit card, plane tickets, dating profile. I mean,
they might put you in first class
exactly.
If you have the title Lord on your ticket. They may be like, oh, we better bump this guy up. So get going today. A link is in the comments and the description of this video. A couple more New Year's Six games, and then we'll take a look at a few other ones as well. Penn State, UCF. I'll be honest, this would be kind of the I think nationally the most who cares bowl, because the group of 5 this year just hasn't had a strong year. It's going to be a 2-loss team most likely. Maybe 1-loss Coastal Carolina makes a push to get that bid. Penn State has had a solid year for them, but clearly has been a step behind Ohio State and Michigan. If they win their last 2 games, I think they'll get a New Year's Six berth.
Yeah, I agree. Taking a look at this matchup, like you said, I think it would be the least hyped up New Year's Six bowl game. Coastal Carolina, they still have a chance.
I'm rooting for the chance, man.
Yeah, I think that'd be a little bit more intriguing to see the chance.
Because UCF has played in these games before.
Right.
Penn State, obviously. But for Coastal Carolina, that would mean a ton to that program.
Right.
To get to play in a game like this. So that's what I'm rooting for. Rose Bowl projection. The Rose Bowl doesn't have quite the lure it used to if it's not a CFP game, but I still love watching it every single year. Michigan, USC. Pretty much the loser of Ohio State, Michigan's going to be in this game. Pac-12, it could be Oregon, it could be USC, it could be UCLA, a lot to play out there, but this would be a fun game. I mean, you got Michigan, maybe the best defense in the country, not named Georgia. Caleb Williams, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. It would be kind of just a tale of two styles, a more physical Michigan team against kind of a finesse, high-scoring USC team.
And just the brand names there, too. Yeah, Michigan versus USC in the Rose Bowl.
Yep.
That would be awesome.
That still means something, man.
For sure.
Still means something. And, hey, if you're a Michigan fan, James Yoder spearheads our Michigan Football Report channel, youtube.com/MichiganTV. He's going live every Tuesday to react to where the Wolverines are ranked, bringing you daily videos on Michigan. So go give him a follow. Go sub to him over there. All right, thoughts on opting out of bowl games. Kind of a left turn. Are you a fan of it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? I don't think anyone's a fan of it, Will, but I think there are certain scenarios where you're like, okay, I get it.
Depends on the bowl game.
Yeah, if we get to a point where players are opting out of a CFP game, I think that's problematic. I think NIL is going to help in that regard, by the way, because these players are getting some money. But if it's the Pinstripe Bowl and a guy's a projected top 10 pick, I mean,
right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know where the line is. For me, it's for sure the CFP. Like, you can't opt out of a chance to play for a national title.
Kenny Pickett opted out of the Peach Bowl last year. Obviously not a playoff game, still in New Year's Six.
Yeah.
And his team lost.
That's tough. That is tough. You wonder, had NIL Like, had that been this year, would he have done that? And he's making, say, $500,000 at Pitt. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think anyone likes it, right?
No.
But in some cases...
It's situational. Like, I don't like it, but in some cases, I understand it.
Yeah.
Now, you know, as you can see, I never played football, but if I was a college football player, there's no shot that I would opt out of the bowl game. Yeah, there's a lot of money on the line. I can understand that, but, you know, going and playing in a bowl game one last time with your teammates, you know, that's not something that a lot of guys would miss. But, you know, some guys, like you said, high draft picks, a lot of money on the line, and we've seen injuries happen in bowl games, so you can understand.
Yeah, it's situational based. Subscribe to the channel. More games to break down, but CFP rankings every week, coaching hot boards. We got Auburn, Nebraska. There's a lot of buzz around the Auburn program right now. We'll see what happens there. Wisconsin, a lot of big-name programs open up. We'll continue to update those with new videos as well. Hit that subscribe button. Recruiting going to heat up in December. So this is the channel, man. November, December, with lots of college football coming your way. Will Scott and I love doing it for you guys, so make sure you guys subscribe. All right, a couple other big bowl games that could be fun. The Citrus Bowl, you know, you look at like Illinois this year. This would be a big game for them to get to play an SEC opponent of Ole Miss's caliber, a January bowl game, if you will. Illinois has a game at Michigan coming up and then one more to go, but even though it's been a disappointing couple of weeks, it's been a big year for Brett Bielema's team, and if he could get a New Year's Bowl, that would be huge for them. Yeah,
an opportunity to play an SEC team like Ole Miss. I mean, that would be a great opportunity for that team. Give Brett Bielema a lot of credit rebuilding that program and doing it pretty quickly. I think Illinois is a little bit ahead of schedule here. Still have a chance to win the West. Yeah,
no doubt about it. Alamo Bowl, always a fun game. Big 12, Pac-12, playing in the Dome down in San Antonio. This would be a rematch, by the way. Second straight year of Oregon, never mind. A rematch from a few years ago, though. Texas did play Oregon a few years ago in the Alamo Bowl. But this would be a fun game, and these fan bases would travel. That would be a sold-out game down there in San Antonio, especially with Austin just being down the highway there. So that would certainly be a fun matchup. How about North Carolina, Florida? UNC Drake May, I think
Gators in the Gator Bowl?
To see how Drake May against an SEC defense, a future top 10 pick potentially, that'd be a lot of fun.
I think so. And Florida, you know, can they finish the year strong?
They've played a little better as of late.
It's been a roller coaster year. Yeah, big win for them last week, so that'd be a great opportunity for that team as well. A really solid matchup, and what might be a pretty decent turnout in Jacksonville over there in Gator country.
No doubt about it. So North Carolina, who still has New Year's Six and maybe even CFP aspirations if crazy stuff happens, but the Gator Bowl on December 30th would still be a good result for that program. Cheez-It Bowl, and this is not the old Cheez-It Bowl. It's actually the game down in Orlando now. That shifted a couple years ago, so this is the third Big 12 tie-in after the New Year's Six and the Alamo Bowl. Oklahoma State, Florida State. Florida State, a team that's, I think, played better than expected this year. Oklahoma State has probably played below expectations after a Big 12 title berth appearance last year, but they've had some injuries. This would certainly be a fun game in late December.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, give Mike Norvell a lot of credit. Very much on the hot seat coming into this year. They get the big win over LSU, start 4-0, kind of stumble a little bit, but they have certainly been finishing the year strong. I think that'd be a pretty solid matchup, and that's the Cheez-It Bowl, right? Not the Citrus Cheez-It Bowl.
It used to be, yes. It used to be the Russell Athletic Bowl, I believe. Now it's the Cheez-It Bowl.
Because now we have the Cheez-It Bowl now, and we have the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. So, very interesting.
There's a lot going on, man. These sponsorships, you can't keep up. All right, if your team is going bowling, type me in the comments. Producer Sam Brown can't say that yet. Oklahoma's 5-5. We'll see if they get there. So type me. 6 wins or more is what it takes. Let us know if your team is going bowling.